Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Think Future. My name is Calabucas, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation startups of the future. Not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. Smack that subscribe button and hit that bell if you're watching on YouTube, so you'll be notified when a new show comes on. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast service, please subscribe and drop us a note on Apple Podcasts if you like the show. If you don't like the show, just let me know. Just let me know. What was I going to talk about today? Oh yeah, the crowd. So a little while back, I talked about what I believe has happened to humanity. So humanity has now become Homo nexus. And when I talked about Homo nexus, I didn't explain Homo nexus. So Homo sapiens is thinking man, right? Thinking man. And Homo nexus is connected man. So nexus is a connection. It's connections between people. So I believe that due to the internet, due to our hyperconnectivity, because this is what we have now, when we decided to tether ourselves to these devices, the thing about these devices is that these devices turn us into cyborgs. We're already cyborgs. We are already cyborgs because we cannot survive without these devices. Now, some of us who are of an older persuasion, we may be able to survive without these devices because we've been told to be self-sufficient without devices. That's one of the things they taught us in school. But nowadays, the thing is, and I agree with this, is that these devices will be with us at all times. These devices are part of our bodies. We have become cyborgs. We have become completely interconnected people. And that's why I believe that we have actually evolved. Human beings have evolved from Homo sapiens, which is thinking man, to Homo nexus, which is connected man. And connected man doesn't have to think anymore because connected man uses the collective as their decision-making power. And I mentioned this before. We trust the crowd more than we trust ourselves. We trust what everybody else around us is saying more than we trust ourselves, more than we trust our own research, our own thinking. We take our reason and we put it on a shelf and we allow the crowd, the collaborative, the collective to tell us what to do. We're basically like the Borg. We're like the Borg from Star Trek Next Generation. We have become the Borg. But we have become the Borg in a more independent fashion in that we have allowed ourselves to take on what the collective is asking us to do. The Borg, as they were depicted in the show, we don't know what their drives are. Their drives are to integrate technology, integrate other people's lives, other people's technology into their own. They absorb other cultures. They absorb other cultures and they make their own. It makes their own culture greater. But the overriding thing about the Borg is that they're just driving to expand and grow. Whereas we, unlike the Borg that have no choice in the matter, we choose to become part of the collective. We decide that we're going to put our individuality on hold and join the collective. And the reason why we do this is that we don't want to be ostracized, especially in this hyper-connected world. Now, before we enter this hyper-connected world, we could choose to live independently. We could be part of the collective some of the time, but not all of the time. We could decide on how much collectivity, if that's even a word, we wanted to experience in our lives. We could decide how much to join with the crowd and how much to step away from the crowd. But now we have to be pushed into the crowd. And if you're not part of the crowd, then you're ostracized from the crowd and you feel bad because you're not part of the crowd. So we have become Homo nexus. And the question is this a good thing? Is this a good thing that human beings have now evolved to this new state where we're in this hyper-connective space and we take our reason and put it on our shelf and allow others to drive our lives, to eliminate our individuality and always subscribe to what the group wants? Now, we've done this over time And when we were in tribes, we needed to do this to survive. But we don't need to do this to survive anymore. We can independently think for ourselves. We can be individuals. We can decide to listen to the collective, but we don't necessarily need to do what the collective wants. We don't necessarily need to follow everything the collective wants us to do. We can balance our individuality with the collective. But let me ask you, have you ever been in situations where you said to yourself, I can't go against the collective. I can't say or do things that go against the collective in case I get ostracized, in case I get kicked out of the group? I'm sure that we've all been in that situation. And the thing is that if you've been in that situation, more than likely, that individualized thought that you're having, that different thought that you're having, that new thought that you're having that goes against the collectivization of the group that you're in, is probably innovation. It's probably something new. It's probably something different. It's probably something that the rest of the group may be uncomfortable with. But if you ask me, that is the seed of the new. The seed of new ideas. The seed of innovation is bathed in individuality. The collective may help you innovate sometimes, but more than likely, it is the individual who creates the spark, the seed of innovation. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.